Lesson 2, frequency table, polygons, and histograms. So, a frequency table is kind of like a chart where you make a tally about how often things come up. So what we're going to do first is determine our maximum and our minimum. So you're just going to scan through your values and find the max. So this is a low one, this is a low one. 187 is low. So I'm just going up and down the rows looking for what looks to be the lowest number. And right here is 159. So the minimum value is 159. Now I'm going to go through and find the highest, and I think it's 4587. Yeah, nothing else is higher than that. So just scan through your numbers, find the minimum and the maximum. Then you're going to determine your range. So 4587 minus 159 is 4428. So when you make a frequency table or a polygon or even a histogram, you need to choose intervals. And those intervals have to have enough intervals to match these values. So I'm going to give you how many intervals we have. So we're going to have 10 intervals. And a good histogram, frequency table, frequency polygon has between 2 and 12. So we're going to go with 10. So to determine how big our intervals are, we're going to take our range and divide it by 10. And that's 442.8. So we're going to make intervals of 500. We're going to round up. That way we hit all of our numbers. Now we're going to make a chart. So we have 3 sections. There's the interval, the tally, and the frequency. So since the intervals have to do with our range, which is these numbers, this is our flow rate. The tally is just a tally, and the frequency is the number of years. So now we're just going to go through our information and we're going to tally it. And when you finish an information, a piece of data, I would suggest either crossing it out or checking it off. So our intervals are from 0 to 500, 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 1,500, and it goes all the way up to 5,000. So write in your intervals, 2,500 to 3,000. 3,500, 3,000. Oh my gosh, I missed one. 2,000 to 2,500. 2,500 to 3,000. 3,000 to 3,500. 3,500 to 4,000. 4,000 to 4,500. And 4,500 to 5,000. I barely have enough room. You should have lots of room on your page. I just don't. And I would suggest drawing lines to keep your information organized. This is so hard on the iPad. I'll give you a picture of my finished frequency table done properly on paper. Okay, so tally. So we have one that's 3,058, so we're going to put that in this category, between 3,000 and 500. 1,065 is in this category. 1,008 is also in this category. 357 is less than 500. 524 is greater than 500. 1,521 is in this interval. So that was the 1,974. 674 is here. 524 is here. 991 is here. Okay, I want you to go through the information, and I want you to tally everything up. So I want you to pause the video right now and tally everything up, and I'm going to write the correct answer in so you can check to see if you've done it right. Okay, so these are the numbers you should have got, and what we put in the third column is just the number of the tally. So this one has 6, this one has 11, this one has 9, this one has 14, 5, 1, 3, 0, 0, and 1. So in your notes, your table should look something more like this. This is much neater, and the more neat you are, the easier it is to make sure you did it right. When you start getting messy, that's when you make mistakes. Okay, histograms. What a histogram is it's a bar graph that has no spaces between the bars. So on the side it has a table, so all you're going to put in your table is this column, so your intervals and the frequency. You don't need to write the tallies out. So when you make a histogram, you have to make a frequency table anyways. So you really need to understand how to do that. So put that in your table, pause the video, and then we're going to make the histogram. So on the histogram, your intervals are going to go on your x-axis. So this is your flow rate. Make sure you label everything properly and use a straight edge. Don't just freehand the lines. You need to use a ruler. Obviously on the iPad I can't use a ruler, but I will show you a picture done with the ruler. The y-axis, so this is your y-axis, this is your x-axis. Your y-axis is the frequency, so the number of years. So on the bottom, we need to write in our intervals. So whatever can fit is what you need. So we can go every 2 lines. Is an interval. So this would be 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. I'm only going to label every other one. 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Now going up, we need to go from 0 to 14. So we're going to go up by 2s. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Now we are going to draw in our information. So from 0 to 500 we have 6. So you're going to use your ruler and draw a straight line from 0 to 500 and down. Oops. Oh my goodness, this is hard. That is your first bar. The second bar, from 500 to 1,000, has 11 pieces of information. So 11 is halfway between 10 and 12. So draw your line, down, down. See how there's no gaps between the bars. From 1,000 to 1,500, it's 9. So draw a straight line at 9 and down. 1,500 to 2,000 is 14. Straight line, down, down. 2,000 to 2,500 is 5. So straight line and down. 2,500 to 3,000 is 1. So right there. That looks bad. 3,000 to 3,500 is 3. The next two are 0, so they're just straight down. And the last one is 1. So this is what it should look like, and here's a picture of what it will look like better on your paper. So this is what it should look like with a straight edge. I shaded in the boxes because I wanted you to be able to see them better. So you can do that, but only if you're going to do it neatly. Otherwise, just leave it. So always have a straight edge. Make sure you label your X and Y axis and your intervals. A frequency polygon is kind of like a histogram, but the lines are going to be a broken line graph, and you need to find the midpoint of each box. So the way that we're doing that is you go from 0 to 500. So this is your flow, midpoint, and frequency. So this stays the same. There's still 6 and it's still 0 to 500. Instead of plotting from 0 to 500, we're going to plot the midpoint between 0 and 500, so 250. That's the most accurate way to show the information, is putting it in the middle. From 500 to 1,000, our number is 11. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this first interval and add 250 for all of the rest of them, so 750. 1,000 to 1,500, add 250 to 1,000, and you get 1,250, and our number is 9. 1,500 plus 250 is 1,750, and that number was 14. 2,000 plus 250 is 2,250, and that number is 5. 2,500 plus 250 is 2,750, and that number is 1. 3,000 plus 250 is 3,250. We've got 3 of those. 3,500 plus 250 is 3,750. We've got none of those. 4,000 plus 250 is 4,250. None of those. And 4,500 plus 250 is 4,750. So on our x-axis, it's still our flow rate. And our y-axis is still the number of years. But now we're going to use these coordinates to graph. So the y-axis is going to go up by the same amount, up by 2's. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Those are the same because our number of years isn't changing. The only thing that's changing is the intervals on the bottom. So we're going to do every box is 250 because we're going by 250s. So 250, 500. 750, 1,000. 1,250, 1,500. 1,750, 2,000. 2,250, 2,500. 2,750, 3,000. 3,250, 3,500. 3,750. 4,000. 4,250, 4,500, 4,750, 1,000, 5,000. So now we're going to plot our points. So our first point is 250 and 6. Oh, you can't see that. There we go. Our next point is 750 and 11. 1,250 and 9. 1,750 and 14. 2,250 and 5. 2, 750, and 1. 3, 250, and 3. 3, 750 is 0. 4, 250 is 0. And 4, 750 is, I'll put those in the wrong spot. One. Now all you're going to do is you're going to collect the dots with a straight edge. So it should look something like this. And that is a frequency polygon. And I'll give you a picture. So this is what it should look like, drawn with a straight edge on your graph.